Hello, hyperspace. My name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped, because this is a tips and tricks video regarding every single one of the specialist abilities and weapons, and I'm going to portray an image on screen so you know which specialist we're speaking about while you watch me play with Battery, my rifle. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because there's been a lot of patches, nerfs, and buffs for each and every one of the specialists, their specialist weapon, and their specialist ability that's been popping up throughout the month, and hopefully they stay like this, and hopefully this video really helps you out. So let's get started with our first specialist, Ruin. And we are doing Ruin, the guy with the overdrive, fast running, and gravity spikes. So let's get straight to it. Ruin's gravity spikes, they're basically the same. However, the blast radius tends to spread around him. And what is the measurements? I think it's 12 meters, which is basically a shotgun's at its max range. Basically, they are the Argus. And it's, elevation isn't really that high, so if you see a Ruin coming at you, try to jump. And hopefully if he does his gravity spikes and you're actually high enough, you won't get killed by the explosion. There's something I see people doing with Ruin, which I call panic spiking. It's basically if you're running Ruin and you get shot one time, you gravity spike. Try not to do that because you're not guaranteeing yourself the kill. Ruin's gravity spikes are so powerful and so fast, you're guaranteed to at least get one kill. And when you panic spike, you're basically just taking that 50-50 chance. I mean, what if somebody shoots you with a Dracon from across the map and they hit your leg? They get a hit marker, you panic spike, and you just wasted your gravity spikes. And mention that the gravity spikes take about anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes to earn, depending on how many kills you're getting. So it takes a while to earn, and you're not going to get a lot of kills with it. So try to save it for when it's really needed. The overdrive ability, we all know how it functions. Speed boost, run over there, get some kills. Next specialist is Outrider. We have her Vision Pulse and the Sparrow. Messing with her Vision Pulse, not a lot of people know about this. When you scan the Vision Pulse, you do become visible on the map, or at least your general location becomes visible on the map. And it pings. When it pings, look at the minimap, because it actually works like a UAV, and it points out enemy locations on your minimap. And then from there, you can turn and hunt them down. And of course, the limited time before the Vision Pulse expires. With the arrows, her Sparrow is actually given a buff. She now has 10 arrows. And there's something that I see a lot of people doing with the Sparrow, which is not really a good idea, and that's spamming the arrows. I would refrain from spamming the arrows because, yeah, she shoots them quick, yeah, they make a lot of explosions, but if you want to spam something that makes explosions, you're better off with the War Machine. Outrider's Sparrow is, accuracy. One shot, one kill. Exactly like she says. Treat the Sparrow the exact same way. Your Sparrow is basically a buffed sniper rifle. Moving on to the next, we're going to do Prophet. Now, there's something a lot going around with Prophet. Prophet and his glitch ability, and Prophet and his Tempest. When you're using the Tempest, I see a lot of people try to spam it, like basically start shooting and shoot. Same thing to do with the Outrider's Sparrow. Just spam the shots. Try not to do that with the Tempest. Treat the Tempest as you would with the PO6 sniper rifle. You see somebody, you aim at them, and you take them out, and you leave it. Don't save the Tempest shots for times when enemies are bundled together. I know you want to try to get those chain kills, but don't save it because it's not really worth it. And on top of that, the instant somebody sees somebody else getting electrocuted by the Tempest, they're most probably going to just run away because they know about that chain reaction. So just, if you see somebody, shoot them, and if you see the Tempest chain onto somebody, then more for you. But don't wait for the moment where you can change somebody. Just shoot them and hope that the chain happens automatically. About his glitch ability is really funky. I don't know the exact measurements of how far or how many seconds back he teleports, like maybe 2 or 3 seconds back to the past, but for whatever reason there's something a lot of people do with the glitch ability, and it really hurts them, and that's what I call a redo. Now what a redo is let's say you basically have your glitch ability ready and you run into an entrance, and once you enter that entrance you see there's like 3 sentry guns there, and 2 guys with shotguns staring right at the entrance, so you instantly glitch out. Most logical thing to do. However, what the people always do afterwards is they enter through the exact same door, and they wind up dying anyway. That's what I call a redo. Because you use the glitch, you don't redo the same thing you did before. You change your approach. The glitch ability is used as more of a retreat process. You see somebody, you glitch, give you some breathing space, and you retreat and change your approach. That's really good advice for the glitch ability. Now let's move on to Battery, my waifu right there. Now, Battery, her war machine, as you see I just took out right there, her war machine is devastating. It demolishes score streaks like no other thing in this game. You can take down a Cerberus with just one grenade. There goes Botan. But the war machine, it's a little tricky to handle. A lot of people ADS with the war machine. I would suggest not ADSing with the war machine because it really, really hurts the range. You already have the reticle when you hip fire, and when you ADS, it basically gives you tunnel vision, and you can't see, you know, the distance on how far you gotta shoot. And on top of that, the war machine, if you have fast hands equipped, the war machine can instantly just work exactly like a shotgun if you're accurate. You're running with the war machine, somebody pops in front of you to have fast hands activate, you pop up the war machine and you hip fire, and it's an automatic exploding shotgun shell. War machine is very good, and it takes a little bit to master, but if you actually master the war machine, it's going to be one of the best specialist abilities. Now, moving on to her, what is kinetic armor? Kinetic armor, you receive an extra 150 health points, which is basically you become 2.5 times stronger than your regular soldier. So, you know, regular guy has 100 health. Activate kinetic armor, you get 150 extra, so you become 250 points of health. Anyway, with the kinetic armor, it's basically used as, well, kinetic armor is supposed to be used. You activate it, you charge in there, you get your kills, and you leave. You are not invincible because everybody can still shoot your head, and you will be killed by non-bullet damage. So you can still be killed by somebody who's knifing. You can still be killed by somebody who even has the bow and arrow. However, Reaper's Scythe is bullet damage related, so if you have kinetic armor, it's going to take a little bit more for Reaper to take you out, but it's not going to be much of a difference because you know that Scythe chews through everybody. Moving on to the next specialist is Seraph. Now with Seraph, she's a very, very tricky specialist. And I covered another video how to use her, what is that thing for the score streak called? Her focus ability. And with her focus ability, it's better tended to use on lower kill streaks because you can have like a UAV, a care package, and a counter UAV, for example. And the instant you earn the UAV, you activate focus and you start getting your kills, and you're just going to constantly have unlimited UAVs. And it's just something to tend towards the lower kill streaks. I wouldn't say it's the best. You can't really get motherships and stuff with it unless you're really good. But if you're not that great, just use focus and focus on the small kill streaks. Her Annihilator, on the other hand, is a very skilled-based weapon. It's basically a pocket sniper rifle. With this pocket sniper rifle, it takes a lot of practice to get really good with it. You only got 6 rounds, but however, there are ways you can actually master this. Now, usually what people do when they're ADS with the Annihilator is they stay ADS and then they start moving their character side to side, sidestepping, so they could line up that shot. Now, that's effective. However, if you actually master moving side to side to line up your shot alongside looking with the other directional stick or pad, whatever you're playing on, looking, you know, left and right, combining that with shifting side to side, you're going to master the Annihilator and you can take out people very, very fast. And on top of that, if you master the Annihilator, you pop up into a Shiva, you use the Shiva the exact same way, the Shiva and the Annihilator will be your top 2 overpowered weapons. Let's move on up to Nomad. This is going to be a long video today. Moving up to Nomad, Nomad's Rejack and Nomad's Hive. Now there are things I see people do with these 2 abilities and weapons. It really, really hurts them. Nomad's Rejack, you don't want to rejack if you literally see somebody staring at you from the smoke. Because, well, you're going to stand up and you're going to die right back down, and you're going to give them double points. So, if you fall on second chance, let's say for somebody who, I don't know, shot you with a shotgun, or maybe even it's a pistol, and your arm's pulling up and you're about to rejack yourself, if they're standing right in front of you, and you see them in the smoke, don't use rejack. Just let Nomad die. Yeah, you're going to wind up wasting your ability, but it's only going to waste halfway, so you're going to have to fill up the other half next time you spawn. With his Hive ability, you get 5 Hive pods. Don't spam the Hives. Most of the time you're going to wind up using 4 out of those 5 Hive pods, because it takes time to place them. But usually I see, like, you know, one guy goes into a room and he tries to camp in there with the hives, and what he does is, you know, he puts the little tube inside the hive gun and he sprays all 5 pods at one door. That's a terrible idea because, yeah, you're gonna get the kill, but unfortunately, once that man runs through the door, all 5 pods will activate, and you're only gonna get 1 kill. You want to maximize your kill count with the hive. When you get the hive, you start spraying either a camping ground that you intend to stay in, or you start shooting it towards the enemy spawn. If you shoot it towards the enemy spawn, spray it out. Don't spray it at the exact same location. Now let's see, who do we have after Nomad? We have Reaper! Using Reaper, his Psychosis and his Death Machine, or Scythe. Anyway, his minigun, his Scythe, it was really nerfed. When the game first came out, it had 200 bullets. Another patch came up, dropped it to 160. Another patch came up, dropped it down to 120. And now this current patch that just came out dropped his Scythe to 100 bullets. And that is awful. However, it's still very overpowered. Using Reaper's Scythe, you want to take it in burst rounds. I know it's really tempting to just hold down that trigger and spray everybody down, but because your bullets are so limited, you're better off being very accurate and treating it like a burst gun. And on top of that, it only takes literally 3 bullets to down anybody. Unless you're running into a battery of kinetic armor, it's going to take 6 bullets, 6 to 7 bullets. That's still enough to take out an entire team and still have like half your magazine left. So if you use Reaper, take it slow and take it burst fire, and you're going to be just fine. His Psychosis, on the other hand, is where a lot of people mess up. You want to act like a clone. And the reason you want to act like a clone is because for the guys who don't know how Psychosis functions, you're going to take them out easily. However, there are players out there who know how Psychosis functions, and if you are not acting like the clone, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. The clones do not swim. The clones do not power slide, and the clones do not jump. So and whatever the clone spawns, if they spawn running, they will stay running. If the clone spawns walking, they will remain walking. So if you spawn and you want to act like a clone, just stay with whatever playstyle you happen to be using. Never jump, never swim, and never power slide, and you're going to blend right in. Moving on to the last 2, we have Firebreak. Let's do Firebreak, save Spectre for last. We got Firebreak. Now with Firebreak, his heat wave is, well, basically, as it said, a heat wave. Hit him with the heat wave, take them out. However, his flamethrower, they changed a little bit on it. It has 100 rounds, I guess you can say rounds, and it starts decreasing over time, as other specialists does, and it basically works like a flamethrower. You know, see the guy, pull the trigger, and the flame comes out and burns him up. However, the flame does have a little delay reaction, so once you hit that trigger, it's going to take about maybe, I say, half a second before the fire does come out. On top of that, you have travel time with the fire. So, just make sure if you're going to use Firebreak's flamethrower, you hold down the trigger before you breach. He's more of a breaching kind of character, you know enemies are hiding in that building, so let me just run through the front door and burn them all up. You can't actually use it as an all-out charge in there, take people out kind of weapon. It's more of a breaching tool. And last, Spectre. Now, Spectre's invisibility to the cloak, the active camo, whatever you want to call it, we all know how it functions. You activate it, you turn invisible, you go out, you get the kill. However, the instant you perform any kind of action, like a knife, a melee attack, or a shoot, you will become visible. So it's perfect for flanking, but not really so good for sneaking around. And the last thing with Spectre, not a lot of people know about this, but you can activate his Ripper immediately after the specialized meter is filled to the top. Usually what I would see people do is they would, fill up the meter, they would see their target, let's say like 10 feet away, they would activate it, so you see Spectre's hand, swipe forward and the meter starts draining, and then they would run up to their target and stab them. That's kind of like a waste because, how can I say this? You can actually activate it right out of its, man, how do I say this? Once it's at fully powered, you can instantly activate it and get the kill, and then it'll start draining. You don't have to activate it like other specialist abilities. You don't have to ready it up and then start getting kills. You can instantly just get the kill the moment it's full. But that's all I got for you guys today. This was a long video, almost 15 minutes, so if you liked the video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me on Twitter at Davontos Man, and as always, I'll see all of you in my next video. Have a nice day.
Mission reassignments inbound.
There was never any doubt.